I was one of those kids who loved to look at people's faces. You know, these kids who was always staring at people, but didn't know how not to get caught. Something I learned in New York City, you know, in all my time there, riding the subway, people are experts at not getting caught staring at each other. Did you ever notice that? You look at someone, and if they look back at you, you can sense they're about to turn their head and look at you. So you turn away immediately so you don't get caught. No one wants to look the other person in the eye for some reason. But I started in junior high school with art teachers, you know, in the American school system, the traditional art school, art junior high school stuff, clay, drawing, ceramics, all kinds of introductions to other artists through books. But then I went on to high school and had an incredible artist teacher, which was, I think, rare, because I've been traveling around quite a bit since then. It's very rare to have an art teacher who's a professional artist in a high school situation. So I was very lucky. This man, his name was Phil Spaziani. Well, still is Phil Spaziani. He lives in Ballston Spa, New York, and he taught at the Scotia Glenville High School, where I went to school. And he was a working artist, showing artist. He was trained as a graphic artist, and then went on to kind of do his own thing with very detailed drawings of flowers, abstracted in beautiful ways, had fantastic style. And he started to invite his best students to come to his openings. So we would be invited to his openings, and this was an amazing experience to me because I had never seen anything like it. I didn't know anything like that existed. I didn't know there was a world like that. And the people there were having so much fun, you know, drinking a little wine, talking, very unique and interesting people. I didn't know what to say to anyone. I had no idea what it was all about. But I also had an uncle who was part of his group. And they exhibited together. They were a collective. And my uncle came to see me one summer and told me that I should continue working. I was experimenting in my basement with airbrush and, you know, everything that was fascinating to an artist in the late 70s, you know, whatever you could get your hands on, I was playing with, trying to find myself, trying to create something new. So Mr. Spaziani was someone who treated his students who were interested. You know, there are many students who weren't interested. I was very interested because I liked him and because I was learning very quickly with him. Somehow we connected together, and he motivated me, so I worked hard for him, and I created things that he had attention for and took an interest in. And so he encouraged me, and I continued to work. And then he kind of gave me the advice to go on to art school. He said, you got to continue with this. So I said, hey, I should do that. And we remained friends, and that's kind of how I started. You know, I started as someone who had an interest in it, had some ability, but I didn't excel. I was a mediocre student because I didn't have, I think, the eye-hand coordination at that time. Everyone thought realism was the greatest thing. If you could copy a comic book, you were the greatest thing on earth, and I couldn't do that. And I wasn't really interested in that. I was more interested in creating something that was real, something where the values and tones were accurate, trying to create a composition that worked. Yeah, and so so he was a great inspiration. He kind of got me started, Phil Spaziani.